Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to the Popternative podcast. It's the podcast where we have digital discussions of the worlds of pop culture, social media, sports, TV, everything really. As always, I'm your host, Peter Remoliotis, and on Twitter you know me as PD Beats. Thank you to everyone that's been watching our episodes, on whether it's a YouTube episode for the video or if you're just listening to us on Spotify or iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts. We appreciate that. We're getting some great feedback and we're rolling along with more episodes for you. So, returning guest on Popternative, as many of you know, season 2 of Ozark was dropped, was it a couple of months ago?
August 31st.
August 31st. Yeah. And back with us on Popternative is an actor, you recognize him as Sam, in Ozark, Kevin L.Johnson. Kevin, welcome to Popternative. Welcome back.
What's going on, man?
I'm asking you what's going on, man. Season 2 of Ozark. Congratulations.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's still pretty surreal. Yeah.
It's amazing. And when we had you on the first time, season 1 was already out. I mean, we knew that season 2 was brewing, but we're allowed to talk about it a little bit more now. But I mean, suspense, just the suspense and the thriller aspect of that show is amazing. I don't think anything could beat it these days. So talk a little bit about the reception that you're getting from season 2.
Oh, I mean, if you like season 1, then you're definitely going to love season 2. Everybody on Twitter always talking about it. So yeah, man, it's been good.
And I see you've been doing you've been doing some interviews here and there, and we got you on. You weren't able to big time me. You're back on the show. And no, but it's just it's one of those things where season 2 came out and the reception right away was amazing. Like I did you kind of notice that too? Like people were like watching it instantaneously.
Oh yeah, I think especially the fans from season 1 were just chomping at the bit for season 2, so they jumped on it, at 3:00 in the morning or 12:00, whichever side of the world you're on. So yeah.
So how does an actor like you, who's on this show, who has, a recurring role on season 1 and season 2, how do you kind of prepare yourself for all the craziness that's to come? I know it's a pretty intense question. There's a lot of answers to that question, but like try it as much as you can.
Yeah. I mean, I've had more opportunities since season 2 came out, like big auditions, good networking, casting directors out in LA starting to like my stuff. So yeah, I mean, it's been good. It's definitely been opening new doors.
And, I think we mentioned it a little bit last time you were on, but it is the golden age of television right now. For you specifically, what do you think has been the key component to allowing this golden age to come to be?
I mean, I think the streaming aspect has definitely helped because, like I think we talked about last time, you can do an hour-long TV show on Hulu or Netflix or Amazon, and the writers get to actually use an hour because, well, Hulu has commercials, but Amazon and Netflix don't. So when it says an hour-long show, it's an hour-long show, and it's not like 15 minutes of a commercial. So they can pack a lot more into one episode.
No, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, cast and crew of Ozark, I mean, amazing, just top-notch. Laura Linney, Jason Bateman. I mean, we talked a little bit about it in season 1, but how was it working with them again for season 2?
Oh, it was great. Jason and Laura, I got to work with a couple of days. Most of my stuff was with Julia this time around, since we're working at the strip club, and then my girlfriend in the show, Melissa, who's also in Atlanta. Yeah, man, it was. I mean, it was great. I mean, we're like a family on that show because some of us, it's our biggest thing that we've ever gotten.
Yeah. No, for sure. You talked a little bit about it. Haley Lovett talked a little bit about it, and Josh Michael talked a little bit about it. But Atlanta, there's a lot going on in Atlanta right now.
Oh yeah.
Talk a little bit about that, and talk a little bit about some of the things that people might not know about the Atlanta scene, because you don't think of that right away. You think of New York, you think of Hollywood, Canada, you
Yeah.
think of Vancouver. A lot of shot down there, but a lot is shot in
Mhm.
Atlanta as well.
Yeah, I would say at least one of your favorite shows is probably shot here. Um, Stranger Things, Ozark, of course, The Walking Dead. Um, what else? I mean, a lot of pilots are shooting that are going to be out later this year. So,
Do you see a lot of people, like actors and actresses, moving to Atlanta because they know there's opportunities?
yeah, I think they know that this is the place to be right now. So a lot of people from LA are coming here. Yeah.
We mentioned TV, but you also had a brief role in a movie called American Animals.
Yeah.
And what's great about actors and what's great about acting and it golden age of TV, but there's some amazing quality films being put out right now. What are some movies that you have worked on, like American Animals, or some movies that you've watched that you have friends in that are worth checking out?
Oh wow.
American
Oh, I got a
Animals for sure.
yeah, yeah. I got a buddy. I got a couple buddies who are in the new movie that just came out today, First Man, with Ryan Gosling, one of my favorite actors. Steve Coulter. I don't know if you know him,
Yeah,
but
he's
know
been on.
Steve?
He's been on the show.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. Steve and I,
He
we have
played.
the
He
same
played. He
agent
was.
out in
He
LA.
was. He was Reg on The Walking Dead.
Uh,
He was.
he was at the what was it? The town. He was
Yeah, yeah.
the husband of
Yeah. He
the
was Reg.
mayor.
Reg. He was Reg. That was the name of his character.
How did he die again? If this, I think we're thinking about the same guy. Was it a pitchfork or on accident
Yeah,
or
but
something?
he was also in Insidious.
Yeah, yeah. So we're talking
Yeah,
about the same guy.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We
Oh,
had him
dude,
on. We had him on the show a year or two ago.
he's awesome. He works all the time.
He's in First Man.
Yeah, he is.
That's awesome.
And then
So
my buddy Clay from North Carolina booked First Man, and this is his first major film. So he's actually in Atlanta. So we're gonna try to go see it today if he's free.
fun fact about First Man, I'm in Ottawa, Ontario, which is the nation capital of Canada. An hour away is Cornwall, Ontario, where Ryan Gosling is born and
Ah.
raised. So very close. And my like Cornwall is about an hour away. So he's not his home stomping grounds aren't too far away, Kev.
Nice. He's incredible, man. He's
No,
one
he's
of my
amazing.
favorites.
There's so many amazing Canadians, man. Like, there's a lot of amazing Canadians coming out right now. Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool 2 is like hilarious.
Yes.
Like so, it's so funny.
It's
Like
it's
they're
great.
making so. Like, what do you think about that? They're making comedy like these action movies. It's like you have to have comedy in them. Some horror movies too. You have to have comedy. Is that just kind of a testament for how popular the comedy genre is, whether it's a sitcom, whether it's a movie? Because there's a comedy in like everything you'll watch now. There's always
Yeah.
like something that's gonna make you chuckle.
I think that's more of what movies are now. Like they don't want to be a specific type. So yeah, so you get comedy thrown in to dramas, you get drama thrown into comedies because they don't want to kind of pin themselves down into one type, you know. So it's good for like to reach a broader audience for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure if I asked this last time you were on, but what a popular question I have, like I definitely asked you the storyteller question because you were talking about how you got into acting and everything.
Yeah.
But this question, I don't think did we talk about misconceptions of the industry at all?
I
I'm
don't
not
think
sure
so.
we did. So I always ask, I'm just curious because like, there's going to be a lot of things about the industry that are true about the industry, but then there's going to be a lot of assumptions and misconceptions about the entertainment industry.
Hmm.
What do you think are some of the biggest ones from your perspective? I'll give you examples. We have, Shauna Hammock from Orange is the New Black talked about the fact that, there's a stereotype that all actors and actresses are waiters. Or like Bob Clendenning from Scrubs and Cougar Town said that there's this kind of breed of actors called like middle class actors that just work like kind of like the regular middle class life, you know what I mean, and go in and work, and
Uh-huh.
that's it, you know what I mean, and there's nothing too glamorous about it. What are some things from your perspective that might be like misconceptions?
Oh wow. I mean, that definitely touched on some of them.
I should stop doing that because like I like you're gonna be like, yeah, that's what I was gonna say, and then like that segment is completely gone.
Oh man. I would say one of the misconceptions is that we all live in LA and
That's a good one.
we ride Rolls Royce. It could be it's far from that.
The LA
Yeah.
one is
It's the
really good
grind.
one. The LA one is a really good one. Also, the one, and this like goes back to like wrestling because I'm a big wrestling fan. Is the wrestlers
Yeah.
that they you see them for the first time and you're like, man, like, this guy came out of nowhere and they've been working in the indies for over 10 years. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's another misconception that like, oh man, his break like he got his big break on so and so, like David Harbour from yeah, I mean from Stranger Things. That was his first big role. No, that's not at all. Like he's been a journeyman. He's been in the game, so to speak, for a long time. Same thing
For,
with J.K. Simmons, you know?
yeah. Oh no, I remember. Oh man, I just watched Whiplash again the second time. That movie was so good.
Great.
You saw
That's
that was such a good
yeah.
movie.
That was the one that kind of brought him into the like, oh, that guy. Yeah, I know him.
Same director as First Man, I believe. I
Oh,
think
is it?
that was yeah. I think that's Chazelle. I think
Oh, wow, is it? Same
yeah,
guy that I know did La La Land
yeah. So it is. Yeah,
is
it's the same guy who did Whiplash.
oh, okay. Oh, yeah, he's a young dude, man.
Have you thought about that a bit? Because I'm a big movie guy myself, and like I get excited when I see a certain director attached to a certain project. That always
Yeah,
makes me so. Like James Wan is actually directing Aquaman, and that
yeah.
makes me want to watch that Aquaman more than ever DC movies.
Yeah, it looks pretty intense and like 3D. I think I'd want to see it in 3D for sure.
But it's like that's a horror movie guy going and directing a
Yeah,
movie, a superhero movie.
because he did The Conjuring, right?
Yeah, he did the Insidious. He did James. He did a lot of them.
The Conjuring was a huge movie of his. Like it was like a breakout
And you
like
know what, man?
movie.
I enjoy those horror movies. I saw The Nun with some friends. I loved it. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, man. It's like they're fun. It's a fun genre.
Yeah, I just started The Haunting of Hill House, which
Is that
just
out?
just started on Netflix today. It's I'm only 2 episodes deep, but
Is it
it's
scary?
it's scary. Yeah, it's a slow burn, I think, but it's like This Is Us meets The Conjuring. Like it goes back and forth with the past and the present. It's really cool.
That's awesome. No, for
And
sure.
that was shot in the Southeast too.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
A lot going on in New York City as well. We had I spoke to Jared Sharf, who's actually the guitarist of the Saturday Night Live band. That episode's on right now. He came on the
Oh,
show,
cool.
and he was talking about New York. There's so much going on in New York as well. Do you kind of think that that's where the industry is going now, where there might be in 2-3 years another kind of hidden gem like Atlanta and New York where things are being shot that we didn't know about, because that's I think happening right now. I remember like the two big ones, Kevin, was LA and Vancouver. I knew a lot of things were always shot in Vancouver,
Yeah.
but now all
I
of a
think
sudden like I didn't know that New York was a spot for that as that much.
I think it's all gonna come down to like a tax incentive, really. I mean, if they're getting a tax break, then that's where they're gonna go. And if the reason Atlanta is great is because you got the city, you got the beach if you need it, on the East Coast. You got the mountains if you need it. So it kind of hits all those things that you need in a movie.
No,
Um,
absolutely.
and then New York has always been one of the staples to go with LA, and then Vancouver is a great spot too. But it's going to be where they can save the money for sure, which is why Atlanta is huge right now because the tax incentive is great for producers.
Netflix right now. I mean, you're on a show on Netflix. You're on probably one of the most popular shows of that Netflix family right now. You know, like with Stranger Things, Orange Is the New Black. You put
Mhm.
Ozark in there, 100%. You know what I mean? Even their animated lineup is insane. You know what I mean? Some of the shows that they're putting out, like the adult animated comedies, Kevin, like Big Mouth and BoJack Horseman and
I
F
gotta
is for
watch those.
Family.
I haven't watched any of those yet. I saw the first episode of Big Mouth, I think.
Big Mouth is funny. Like season
Yeah.
two, I'm watching season two right now. Big Mouth is very funny. It's one of those things where, and there's movies coming out as well. But I mean, what is your guide as an actor? Because you're like, I mean, I don't know. Like when you watch shows, do you watch certain shows as research sometimes rather than just for for entertainment purposes? Like how does that work? I always thought about that.
It's yeah, it's a little different like once you get into the business, like it's hard to kind of turn your brain off and watch something just to enjoy it because in the back of your mind you're like, "Oh wow, that's a really cool choice that they had for that scene." Or just like little things like that you pick up on or if something isn't connecting storyline wise, you pick up on that. But you try to turn your brain off to just kind of enjoy the enjoy the show or enjoy the movie
No, 100%.
and
Um,
stuff.
wrap up soon, but Ozark season two. What do you kind of think is the reason why the show is so popular? I'm gonna give you three things, and you're gonna tell me out of it's obviously all these three things. What I'm gonna mention,
Hmm.
but I'd like you to tell me which one do you think is the one that is highlighted more.
Okay.
Is it the acting, the writing, or is it the look, the aesthetic? Because I
Wow.
honestly think, man, the look of it is what makes me watch it. I'm gonna be completely honest with you.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think I would say the look too, because I don't think there's anything else like it, you know, on TV. Yeah. It
Because
just draws
obviously
you in. It has a very
the
movie quality.
writing's amazing, the acting's amazing, but it looks good.
Yeah, it's very cinematic. Like it's
Stranger
watching like a
Things, Stranger Thing. Sorry, continue what you were saying.
no, it's like watching a 10-hour movie, you know. Very cinematic.
Stranger Things, the reason why it is so popular, in my opinion, is the look of it, what it looks like. The homage to the 80s
Yeah.
is insane. They hit it out of the park. Like when I
Very
watch it,
Goonies-esque,
I
yeah.
think ET right away. And
T
ET is like one of
Goonies,
my
yeah.
favorite, but like that's what you want. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah,
what
and
you
it's scary too. Like season 2 was scary, man.
it
That
was.
freaking the thing
Yeah, the Demogorgons, yeah.
at the very end of the season 2 freaked me out, man. I was like, "Oh, what's coming up next?"
I know
Just
it's
hovering over.
yeah,
Wow.
man. No, it's amazing. Kevin, thank you so much for coming back on Pop Alternative. It's always a pleasure, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Floor is yours. Plug away. Where can people follow you on social media? Plug any upcoming projects that you were allowed to talk about. Floor is yours.
Oh yeah. Twitter is the handle is going to be Kevin underscore L_Johnson.
Hmm.
Uh, Instagram is the Kevin L. Johnson. Um, and I would say, let's see, well, American Animals is out on DVD now, so I definitely recommend seeing that. Uh, Obviously Ozark, if you haven't watched that, probably shouldn't be watching this podcast yet. Season, if you haven't seen season 2. Um, what else?
I don't think I know anyone that hasn't watched season one at least. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't think I know. I don't think I know anyone who like everyone I know has watched that show.
Yeah, it's a good show, man. I'm glad to be a part of it.
So American Animals.
What else? Jacob's Ladder, but we don't. It's gonna come out next year.
Mhm.
I can't remember what the date is. Man.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm in an episode of Greenleaf
Okay.
on OWN next week as a lawyer. So
Nice.
check that out. Yeah, and just grinding away and trying, looking for the next project.
That's awesome, man. Well, I wish you all the best, and
Thanks, man.
congratulations with Ozark Season 2. And here's to Ozark Season 3. More Sam. We want more Sam in Season 3. We want him in Season 3.
Fingers crossed.
Well, this has been Popternative. Until next time, this has been Kevin L.Johnson and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.